Good morning, class. Today we begin a new chapter in home science, human development or development in a child, right from birth, that is infancy, up to the age before he becomes an adolescent, that is about 12 years of age. So we look into the different stages of development of a child. And why must we look into the different stages? Because during this period, every child goes through a change, that is changes in physical development, cognitive development, emotional, social development, all the different forms of development which we will take up one by one. So development in a child is very difficult to understand because a child is a very critical stage where the role of maturation and development is very important. Exercise of the brain and that of the body, that is both are very important. Then all individuals are biologically different, they're not the same. Then each phase of development in a child has a characteristic behavior and which we will be studying one by one. So let us first look into the first stage, that is from infancy to early childhood, which ranges from 0 to 6 years. So here what we find is that this is a period when a child is both physically and emotionally immature and is very dependent on others for the needs. He has a great capacity of learning. This is the age where we find that maximum learning process takes place in a life of a child. All the gains, that is physical development, very rapid in infancy, but slowly over time, in early childhood, it slows down. And there is increase in muscular coordination, meaning that the child learns to use hands, legs and different parts of the body together. He is physically active, thereby developing in size. Intellectual development also is equally rapid. The nervous system is more mature, helping the child to comprehend or understand what he sees around him. He picks up new vocabulary, new words, allowing him to express his thoughts, feelings and emotions. And most of the time we find that he is imitating, copying others. So that's why it's very important to see that there is good behavior, good words spoken around him. Otherwise he will imitate those and he will not be able to pick up the right things and master the correct rudiments of school learning. Then socially he may find it difficult to get along with others. He loves to associate with people he is familiar with. That is why we find that children are reluctant to go and talk to strangers or play with strangers, and they find that but slowly he learns to identify who are his own people, that is who are his family members, and also learns to play with friends. Emotional maturity also begins and he learns certain specific attitudes towards things around him, loves his parents and other family members, but has strong likes and dislikes. And he is very adamant about his likes and dislikes and gets easily angered. Sense organs are well developed and he uses them to discover the world around him. His sense of curiosity can be explained and this teaches him to socialize. Guided by pain and pleasure, his moral sense is not well developed. So sometimes he has to be punished, and when he does something good, he has to be rewarded, so that he is able to understand the difference between good and bad. The different tasks, development tasks which is expected are, this is the time period when he learns to walk, eat solid food, talk, then learns to eliminate or remove the body waste, learns the difference between a girl and a boy, then his physiological ability also matures, then social and physical reality, then he learns to relate oneself emotionally with his brothers and sisters and other people, learns to distinguish or differentiate between right and wrong, prepares and participates in formal education in school and other institutions. Then after this, we come to the next stage, that is middle childhood. Middle childhood, what we find is that this is the age which ranges between 6 to 8 years. And this age, he is able to go to school, use his sense organs skillfully, and coordinates his clumsy and uncoordinated muscular activities. His natural curiosity is large, very curious about the things around him, which should not be suppressed. Parents must have the patience to help a child and explain whatever questions he asks, so that his curiosity is satisfied. During this phase, we find he learns physical skills for ordinary games, builds a wholesome attitude towards other organisms, learns to get along with children of his own age group, begins to develop masculine or feminine social roles, develops fundamental skills in reading, writing, calculating, develops everyday concepts of everyday living, develops a sense of morality and scale of values, develops attitudes towards social groups and institutions, achieves personal independence. Followed by this phase, we come to the next phase, that is later childhood. Later childhood is the period, a very golden period for a child, because he's acquainted with the environment, he can now master, he can now do things on his own. Physical growth is not as rapid as earlier, but he's strong and much steady. Then he tends to become restless, so hence lot of activities must be given to him, which will keep him occupied. Intellectual development shows up in the form of thinking and concept formation. This is the age where his literacy or educational development takes place. He not only thinks, but learns to observe and reason. He has a very good memory at this age, and he can retain and use information for his benefit. Socially, he is more cooperative and loyal to his playmates. Group play is very important for him at this stage. He doesn't like to play alone. He likes to play in a group. And though he is able to criticize people and things, he's submissive to authority. He listens to his elders. Less selfish, self-centered, and aggressive. And we find that school and home should provide him an environment to develop his potential or his future. This provides experience and activities related to maturation, caters to readiness and individual differences, provides the child by the way of equipment, other things. He should be provided with with equipments which he should learn to use in this age. Organize learning situation, use available resources like personnel and community, stimulates the child, exposing him to he should be exposed to a variety of environments, should not be kept locked in the house by the parents. He must have enough ability to mix around, to understand what's going on around him, as this will stimulate him and give him a sense of security and feeling of confidence, very important, by giving him love, affection and security. He should be praised and encouraged whenever he does anything nice, so that he can understand that he is going to be rewarded. This helps him to develop a vocabulary so that he can express his thoughts, ideas and feelings well. Then, let us quickly have a look at what all aspects of development takes place. So, one aspect is the physical development in every child. If he is well developed for his age, he will be very confident. If he has put on more weight than needed, then that also retards his confidence level. And physical development influences attitude towards self and others. Then there is motor development or motor skills, based on coordinated use of different team of muscles. Then, followed by that, we have the emotional development, where a happy, carefree childhood is very essential to adjust in adulthood. This belief implies that all unpleasant emotions must be kept to the minimum, and parents and teachers must make his growing up stage a very happy period. Then we have the social development phase, where the child learns in cycles how to improve himself. How soon the child recovers is largely dependent on the learning experience provided and how most children are satisfied with the process they have made in social development. Cognitive development, he learns to do adjustments in life, which is influenced by his knowledge of environment, people and himself. This enables a child to adapt to changes around him and in himself. The child will react with less fear, anxiety or resentment. Language development. When he starts schooling, he learns to communicate and express his needs and wants so that he can be understood by others. And these are the main aspects of development which takes place in a child. With this, we finish today's class. We'll continue more with this chapter in our next class. Thank you.